Yo, what's up everyone, welcome back. Jamie here today, back at it with another review, and today we're making our return to Haddonfield, more specifically Halloween for the return of Michael Myers. Now this film was released in 1988, 10 years after the events of Halloween 2, a few years after Halloween 3, but of course, everyone complained about Halloween 3, so they brought back Michael for this installment. Like I said, it's called The Return of Michael Myers, and we're going to be reviewing it today, so let's get started. This film was directed by Dwight. Now obviously John Carpenter and Deborah Hill had no involvement going forward with this series, up until this point anyway. So we got a new director. The Arcades wanted to continue with Michael because they knew that's what the audience wanted. They basically, from the reaction of Halloween 3, they knew that anyway. So we got the return of Michael Myers here. Opening shots, we've got the town, like, it's not really a town, like the shots, it's like, deserted, like farms and stuff like that. It definitely sets the Halloween feel though. It's definitely eerie when you watch it. There's no pumpkins though starting like the other three films, but it definitely captures the Halloween feeling, no doubt about it, man. And then from there we go from that to the hospital. Michael's getting transported back to Smith's Grove, so we got two people taking him. Like I said, it's been 10 years since the events of Halloween 2. So, he's got all bandages on his face from the burn. Because obviously at the end of Halloween 2, he got burnt. Him and Loomis, the hospital just, went up in flames. So yeah, they're transporting Michael back to Smith's Grove. And of course, the Halloween theme kicks in when they're taking him outside of the hospital, man. And it don't matter what rendition of the theme it is, it's always going to be amazing. So yeah, we got him wheeling out the hospital, putting him inside the ambulance. And then Michael, of course, comes to life and he smashes the guy's head against the wall inside the ambulance, and he gets his thumb and he just sticks it right through the guy's head, man. Like, this film is definitely graphic compared to the other ones, no doubt about it. We're in 80s slasher territory now, no doubt about it. So from there we get introduced to our main character of the series now, Jamie Lloyd, played by Danielle Harris, and Danielle Harris is an amazing actor. So obviously here she's a kid, and even as a kid she's amazing. Like, most child actors are really bad, but Danielle Harris was actually good. So yeah, she's playing Jamie Lloyd, the daughter of Laurie Strode. But of course, Jamie Lee Curtis isn't back inside this film either, so Laurie's dead. Just 10 months before this film takes place, her and her boyfriend/husband, Jamie's dad, died inside a car accident. So yeah, Jamie's been adopted just like Laurie has, and she's having nightmares about Michael. So this is where the film starts. We see a little bit of glimpse of Michael when Jamie wakes up from a dream, but we'll get more into the mask when we get to it. This isn't the worst mask inside the series, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not the best either. We're also introduced to Jamie's adoptive sister, Rachel. She used to be babysat by Laurie, she says as well, so there's the link right there. But this is another strong character, but she doesn't last long, unfortunately. But Rachel is actually a really good character. I do like Rachel quite a lot. So the whole point of the story is Rachel has to look after Jamie because her parents are going out and she's missing out on a date with Brady, who we'll get to later on. So yeah, it's Halloween and she has to babysit Jamie. And then we're introduced to Loomis again from Halloween 2. He's back, but obviously if Loomis is burnt as well, because if Michael's burnt, Loomis is as well. And you see like this little burnt mark on his face. Now at first it looks like an egg. No doubt it looks like an egg, but the story goes, like, on set, someone told Donald Pleasance, this who plays Loomis, so they decided to change it halfway through the film. So if you watch the film, you can notice the special effects of the burnt changes throughout, but originally it looks like an egg. It does actually look like an egg. It's pretty funny. So of course Loomis is on the hunt for Michael, so he heads back to Haddonfield to try and find him, but on the way there he stops at a gas station, and coincidentally Michael's there as well. Michael kills the guy, takes his suit, but he don't have the mask yet, so he's all bandaged up. Loomis walks in and sees him. He's like, Michael? And he slowly walks up to him. He's like, Michael, don't go back. He pulls out his gun. He's like, God damn you. He just pulls his gun and starts shooting, but of course Michael's gone. But he's not gone far because he's getting the truck and he drives out of the gas station through the door, and then Loomis is trying to shoot at him. Obviously the shots are missing because and the thing just blows up. Literally Michael's just driving out and he's able to blow up the gas station, so Loomis is thrown back and Michael gets off to Haddonfield head start. So like we've mentioned, Jamie obviously didn't have a mum or dad because they both died. And the kids inside this film, man, at school, they are so mean. Like, what the fuck? They're bullying her because her uncle's the boogeyman. And she just start going, Jamie's an orphan, Jamie's an orphan. Like, come on, man, what the... You can't bully a kid over that. But we'll get back to these kids because they're definitely hypocrites, man. They just flip-flop like that. So So like I said, Jamie's being babysat. It's Halloween by Rachel, so she takes her to the costume shop to get a Halloween costume, and she ends up picking out the same sort of costume that Michael wore in the original '78 film when he killed his sister Judith, you know, the clown costume. And then she bumps into Michael because Michael's actually inside the store and he's, you know, getting his mask back. So, I mean, like I said, we'll get back to the mask again, but this sort of explains why the mask is at least a little bit different. But yeah, she bumps into Michael and she starts screaming, and everyone comes to see what happens, and Michael's already gone. But he's got his mask now, no more bandage look for Michael. So that's the thing, when James is at the store getting a costume and Michael picks up his mask, that sort of explains why this mask looks like, you know, it doesn't look the same as Halloween 1 and 2, let's just put it that way. Which makes sense because, you know, at the end of Halloween 2, he gets burnt up and the mask pretty much gets burnt. And, he, you know, he's been captured for 10 years, he's got all the bandages on his face. So it makes sense that the mask ain't going to be identical. I understand that. When it gets to the next film, Halloween 5, then the logic, I can't really come up with logic for that. But for this film, it makes sense because, you know, 10 years later, it's not the same mask. He got a similar mask. There we go. So Loomis has to get his ride back to Haddonfield, and he ends up trying to hitchhike. Now at first, these kids, like high school kids, like, you know, pull up and like, come on old man, come on old man. And then he just speed off and leave him beside the dust, which is a bit tight, man. Especially if you knew who Loomis was, you would not be doing that. You would be offering the front seat inside that car, man. Because this guy is going to do some stuff. So then inside the dust, another guy pulls up and it's a preacher. And of course, Loomis gets in. And this guy, like, I don't know if they was going to make more of a role for him, but he's kind of interesting. Like I said, he's like, you know, Jesus preacher. So yeah, this preacher picks him up and he starts, like, you know, talking to Loomis. And he's like, he's been hunting it for 30 years. And he's like, I could tell you've been hunting it too. And he's like, you can't kill damnation, mister. You can't do it. So maybe they were like, you know, if they was going to write this guy in more, that would have been pretty cool. He just seemed like an interesting character, not going to lie. So Jamie and Rachel are outside trick-or-treating, and Michael breaks into the house while they're out, and he finds a picture of Laura, so, you know, he makes the connection that Jamie is related. And also, fuck you, Michael, again, because you killed another dog. I can't believe you, man. You're my favourite horror villain, and you keep doing this, man. You keep doing it. Another dead dog. Like, come on. We got a new sheriff because Sheriff Brackett has retired from number 1 and 2. Now we've got Sheriff Miko, and to be fair, I do like Miko. He's a good, cool character. Like, some could say, oh, it's just, you know, repeating the same thread as number 1 and 2, because even he has a daughter as well who ends up getting killed by Michael. But I don't know. I find like I like Mika more. Maybe it's just me. Let me know your comments as well. So now we're back to those kids, those bully kids I was talking about before, who was bullying Jamie. Now all of a sudden they want to be friends because they like a costume. They're like, oh, nice costume. Do you want to come trick-or-treating with us? If I was there, I'd be like, bitch, no. I'm an orphan, remember? I don't want to be friends with you. So while they're out trick-or-treating, Rachel finds, I mean, I guess it's her boyfriend Brady at Sheriff Mika's daughter's house while they're trick-or-treating. So of course she gets mad, and while she's arguing with Brady, Jamie gets split up from her and she goes on her own. But this dynamic is going to come back later, so don't forget about it. We got Rachel, a sort of boyfriend Brady, and now he's with the sheriff's daughter, and that's all going to come back into play. So of course the town starts rallying up together, try and find Michael. They start doing like a mob type thing because they phone the police and there's no answer, and like, what kind of police station doesn't answer? So they all gather up the guns and off they go. Michael is smart. He goes to where the electricity is inside the town, and there's a guy there named Booker, and he ends up killing him. The guy's like, don't try that Halloween shit with me. And Michael's just, you know, not replying, so he picks him up and just throws him into the electrical transformer, and boom, all the lights are out on Halloween night on Haddonfield. So eventually Loomis finds Rachel and Jamie on the streets while they've been trick-or-treating, and then all of a sudden they're surrounded by multiple Michael Myers, man. There's like 4 different people, but it's just kids playing pranks. Like, you thought it was me, Sheriff. It's like, why would you play about with that? You nearly got shot, mate. You're not supposed to be dressing up as a serial killer. And, you know, you just think it's a joke. Like, what the fuck? Especially when he's escaped as well. But obviously one of these people is actually Michael, so when they start driving off, you see that sick shot of him just standing inside the road, just watching him go, which is a pretty badass shot, I'm not gonna lie. So Michael's out of a ride at this point, so he ends up getting inside a police car in the back, and he's just chilling in there. You see his hands, and he gets a free ride. He just hops on the ride, and the police officer takes him to the sheriff's house where he's taking Jamie. There's an easy joke to be made here. I ain't gonna do it though. The mobs with the red hats and everything. They see someone move inside a bush. He's like, I saw him, it's Michael. So they all start getting the guns out and they're just shooting. And it ends up being Ted. They killed innocent Ted, I forgot his second name, but they're so trigger happy. There's an easy joke to be made here about Americans and guns, but I'm not gonna do it. So like I said, that dynamic before it comes back into play now, because Brady and Sheriff's daughter are walked in on. with Rachel and Jamie because the sheriff's brought them to his house to keep him safe, and Brady's in there with her daughter. So that's a little bit awkward right there, no doubt about it. A sixth shot inside the house is Michael just peeping in the background. It's similar to Halloween 1 and 2. Like, they're having a conversation, you just see Michael come in and out, and the police officer thinks he sees something and he just has a quick look. And this police officer eventually dies. He's like, this guy's like, you know, he's sat down inside a chair with a shotgun, you know, watching the front door. But there's a little bait and switch, and Michael ends up killing him and swapping his body. So Michael's sat down there with a shotgun. And then when the sheriff's daughter comes in, he just turns around, gets the shotgun, fucking impales her, lifts her up with it, and she's dead. Like, he just literally, he goes right through her, the fucking shotgun. Like, he's superhuman at this point, Michael. There's no doubt about it, man. Loomis eventually takes Jamie to the school to be safe, and Loomis gets attacked. It's the revenge of Ben Tramer, I'm telling you right now, because this mask looks so fucked. He gets attacked by this, like, I don't even know at this point, man. This mask, but it's the joke, innit? Ben Tramer from Halloween 2. Loomis got him killed, and now he's back for his revenge in Halloween 4. So yeah, I don't want to like keep repeating the whole story of the film, but eventually it ends where Michael gets shot down a mine shaft. But while he's getting shot, it looks like he's dancing a little bit, and that's like the death, I should say, of Michael Myers. And then the final shot of the film is they're all back at Jamie's house. Everything seems good. They take Jamie upstairs for a bath. His adopted mum does. And all of a sudden we hear screaming, and she comes out with the twist ending in Halloween 4 is Jamie takes the place of Michael. Because at the end of the film, Michael's laying down before he gets shot inside the mine shaft, and Jamie goes over and she touches him, and that's sort of like, you know, a link between them, if you would. So, end of Halloween 4, the twist is Jamie is now a new killer, and she killed her mum with the scissors, and Loomis is screaming, he's like, no, no, he's about to shoot the little kid, and then the sheriff stops him. I mean, I wish obviously they retconned this. If you haven't seen Halloween 5, which we'll get to next week, they retconned this, and Jamie's not really a killer, but I feel like it would have been an interesting way to take the series, no doubt. Like, you're already on Halloween 4, you might as well do something different, right? But in the end, they chickened out. So the rating of this film, the ranking I'm going to give this film is definitely an 8 out of 10. Halloween 4, 8 out of 10. This is one of my favourite sequels of the Halloween series, no doubt. If you never watched it, definitely give it a chance. I mean, the mask is a little bit weird, but the whole atmosphere and the characters and everything, it's definitely one of the best sequels. Said overall, I'll give this film an 8 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts and opinions inside the comments down below. Make sure to click like on the video, it really helps out, and subscribe if you're new, I really appreciate it. Next week we'll be reviewing Halloween 5, but until then, peace out in a bit.